In our last few episodes, we looked at things the North Korean government takes from their people for tax purposes. But if you think about it, it's not that weird. I mean, we all have to pay taxes, just in a different form. This doesn't justify the North Korean government's lies, though. And today, we want to show you why taxes in North Korea aren't just absurd, but deadly.
In a communist country, the government pays each people in return for their contribution, which is their labor. It's called rationing.
As a communist country, North Korea did that too. But in 1994, North Korea completely stopped rationing.
That included everything, food and all necessities for living. No joke, people got absolutely nothing.
People still had to work, but got no compensation. Also, the government continued forcing people to pay taxes.
The North Korean people were too habituated to their communist system.
After their rations were cut off, people didn't know how to live. They couldn't find food or anything else they needed to survive.
Do you know how many North Korean people died because of this? Over 3 million people starved to death in just 3 years.
Oh my god, that's awful. So, Nina, you actually didn't get anything from the government?
No. From the 1994, no one get the rations or got paid their job. It was just chaos.
But still, the government ruthlessly took everything you had.
And even the things you didn't have that you had to go get
Yes.
for the government.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, they never let us rest either. They always made us do harder labor.
In the last episode, you said they even made you work on the weekends too. That sounds just horrible.
Yes.
Really? Yeah.
Right?
I
They just-
treasure my weekends.
Yeah, they stopped giving you completely and just like still taking everything you have and you don't have and make you work 7 days a week from really early morning to the
Yeah.
evening. Sounds just horrible. Luckily, you lived in a border town. I heard that people from the border town did way better than others.
Oh, really?
Yes. For example, you said you didn't really see dead bodies on the street, right? So how was it for you when rationing stopped?
Like you said, when you people starving, people went to the China to get food.
They could cross the border to get food from
Yes.
China.
But a lot of people were captured, sent back North Korea, and went to jail. At the time, going to jail was death sentence for us. A lot of people from my town died in jail.
So people from border town didn't really starve to death, so you didn't really see dead bodies on the street, but they had to cross the border to get food in China, and they got captured and they
Yeah.
died in jail. I heard that like jail in North Korea is so brutal. Not a lot of people make it, especially guys, because they have no mercy to guys. So they have to like work day and night without no food, and then they just die.
Wow. So you had no options.
Yeah.
I feel grateful that Nina didn't have to see that many dead bodies on the street.
Wow. Terrible.
Yeah. So people who weren't from border town, they died a lot. 3 million is almost 10% of the population.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. People just died on the street. Every single day, a ton of people died. Those who were alive tried to clean the dead bodies from the street, but they just couldn't. There were just too many dead bodies.
Wow.
What's more sad is that babies and kids died on the street more than adults. Teachers and scientists died first. They didn't know how to get food, and they didn't know how to grow their own food. So Nina, I heard that your mom was a chemistry teacher. How did this no rationing affect your family?
Yeah.
My mom quit teaching. She had to find ways to get food. That's when I had to quit school too. I was only 12 years old. I could never go back to school since then.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But I'm so glad, even though your mom was teacher, your family somehow survived.
Right. There were no options to survive,
Yeah.
but you found a way.
But Nina told me that her mom was really tough woman.
I guess so.
Yeah.
You had to be tough to survive that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like getting completely nothing.
This was such a huge humanitarian crisis. Why didn't the world do something?
World actually did. like
Yeah.
Red Cross and UN and South Korea, they gave a lot of food, but didn't those things like support never got to the commoners in North Korea. People still had to die. Nothing got to people.
That's awful. That's
Yeah.
really terrible. The U.S. should have done something too.
They did too, through UN. But North Korean government, they took all the food and everything.
Wow.
Nothing got to the people. The world calls this a great famine of North Korea. But I wouldn't call it that. North Korea had all the food and money it needed to save its people. But instead, Kim Jong-il built a palace for his father's grave. It's actually called the Palace of the Sun. That happened exactly when no rationing happened. It cost $900 million
What?
to build that palace.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Considering the labor was absolutely free in North Korea, it's
Right.
just tremendous amount of money.
Jeez.
While people were dying on the street, all the kids and babies just dying on the street, being a frozen dead body, they were building that palace for just one dead body.
Didn't North Korean people get so angry that they were building this extravagant palace?
No one knows about the palace, the building, them amount is cost. If you the cost to give the us and then no one died on the street, even it's kids and small baby, we didn't know at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main idea is that like North Korean people never knew. People who don't live in a capital, they never
no
heard
idea?
of it. Yeah, and then people even in Pyongyang, which is capital, they didn't know either. They knew the palace is going on, and then they thought it was like it's so necessary for a god, but they didn't know how much it cost.
That's really.
But a lot of Pyongyang
brainwashed.
people, the capital people, they got some rations too, so they didn't know people were
Yes.
dying.
Dying.
Yeah,
Wow, that's really strategically cruel.
it is
That-
really cruel and mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes me so angry. I just can't imagine how Nina you must feel.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
so
just-
sorry.
Yeah.
It was also awful for her. Yeah. People certainly didn't have to die if they didn't build the palace. What's even worse is that maintenance of the palace cost over $2 million a year
What?
because they have two dead body they have to preserve every year. Only for the preservation just costs $2 million a year.
That's disgustingly terrible.
It is a terrible.
Oh my god.
In the next video, we want to tell you the sad stories about people who died during this period. The stories I'm going to tell you made me so angry. I really want the world to know. So North Korean people are still suffering and they're dying because of the government. Please share this video so that more people can know. This will really help to save North Korean people. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you
Bye.
for watching. Bye.
좀 힘차게 해봐. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Bye.